Hello there, it's Dennis here at the Domaine de Cromey in the heart of Burgundy. We are here in the park on the terrace, have a little Sunday afternoon barbecue as we like to do in the early summer. And often when we have these kind of get-togethers, small as they may be, we like to do a little wine tasting and talk about one of our producers that we represent in the United States at burgundywine.com. Today we're going to talk a little bit about Julien Cruchandeau, and we have some Hautes de Nuits, white and red. And we're going to let Stephen Lenahan pour the first glass. And a welcome glass it'll be. Haute Côte de Beaune, Julien Cruchandeau, 2018.
So I remember we had a brilliant, memorable tasting last year.
Oh yeah, it was great.
Around this time last year, probably, in his cellar.
And these wines had just been bottled, hadn't they?
Yeah. And definitely he is one of the exciting new up-and-coming...
Well, there's a great story, actually. He's Julien Cruchandeau. We met him because he makes wine in Bouzeron, which is the only appellation in Burgundy that has taken aligoté as its grape. And aligoté is all the rage right now. So Julien Cruchandeau, in 2003, rented, I think, a small parcel of land in Bouzeron and started making wine on his own. Because he was in Bouzeron, which was the reason that the appellation took the aligoté as its grape was there was a project spearheaded by Aubert de Villaine, who was the one of the co-owners of the Domaine Romani-Conti, and he's sort of one of the elder spokesmen of Burgundy, and he took aligoté on as a project because, as a lot of people do think these days, it's a much more noble grape than it used to be. If you give aligoté a good plot of land, it'll produce a lovely wine. If you give it something that doesn't drain well, it used to be that the winemakers would plant aligoté where they didn't want to plant anything else, where they thought that their worst vineyards were, and you end up, of course, with a bad wine. But Aubert de Villaine and his group of people in Bouzeron decided that would be something different. So they started producing aligoté, a variety called aligoté doré, and Aubert de Villaine, in his magnanimous gesture, offered the young producers of Bouzeron Massal selection from his old vines. So Julien Cruchandeau started out with the very best grapes that you could possibly get in aligoté, and he made a massive name for himself. He is still to this day one of the great producers of aligoté, and he, in honor of Aubert de Villaine, he named his Bouzeron cuvée Massal after the gift that Aubert de Villaine gave him. But that's all well and good. We're not talking about his aligoté today. After he had had success with Bouzeron, he decided on another underdog appellation, and he went up into the Haute Côte de Nuits, into a village called Chaux, and bought some land there and planted aligoté again. But he also planted Pinot Noir and Chardonnay, and that's what we're talking about here.
Yeah, so this is the white Chardonnay from the Haute Côte. But just the last point on the aligoté that I find was interesting is, at the moment, what we shipped to burgundywine.com sold out. And I looked today, and so it's available on Primeur, which is interesting. So
oh yeah, that's right.
The next shipment, probably pre-order is a good idea.
Well, we got an allocation from Julien because it was our first purchase from him. It was a relatively small allocation. And this because it sold out so quickly, we said we have a bit more, so we'll have some more coming in at the end of July. But this,
we're back to Chardonnay.
Back to Chardonnay. This is he treats every single one of his cuvées differently. This white Haute Côte de Nuits is done in 50% stainless steel and 50% oak. But of that oak, only 10% of it is new. So it's just touched with the structure of the wood in that leaves that freshness. What's been happening? It used to be in the past generation. In the haute côte, the wines just didn't ripen as well. But we've had so many good warm years recently that there have been some excellent harvests. As a matter of fact, 2018 they ended up with not only sugar maturity, excellent sugar maturity, but phenolic maturity too. So there's some amazing wines coming out of the haute Côte de Nuits and the haute Côte de Beaune these days. Some of the wags locally are saying that quality is climbing the hill.
And when we say, he treats each cuvee differently, it's, some people may think he's just treating each parcel of land or each particular wine. He treats every year differently. So the 2017 to 2018 to 2019, he will have fermented different blends, different, so it's an amazing variation of what he is achieving.
You often hear people say that it takes 20 years to make a winemaker, because you can't just know how to do it, and you can't just read in a book how to do it. You gotta, every year, on the day that you pick the grapes, you're given something that is completely different than you've ever had before, and you have to deal with it, and you have to deal with it today. So the great ones have a gift. They have touch. They have an instinct.
I believe the really great ones used to be chefs.
Okay. Anyway, we want to get to our barbecue. Let's move on to this.
So let's just quickly talk about this.
Okay.
So he's got 50% steel, 50% oak.
Yeah.
Of that 50% oak, only 10% is new oak.
Right.
So really just a touch. The complexity for a steel with that is still, like, the nose is very complex. The orange flower,
yeah, that kind of thing.
And
it's already got that honeyed edge.
The finish on this white, for 2018. And again, what a lot of wines from maybe other sources on 2018 you may worry about is a lack of acidity. But like we spoke about before, an Elden wine, I think, that's one of the characteristics, is that lasting acidity on the mouth.
Yeah, I think everybody here likes acidity and minerality. The two of them together just give you a thread that runs through the middle of a wine right from the start, right and all the way to the finish.
Yeah.
And when you get to this, you get into this sort of vintage. It's just persistence all the way through, but carries the fruit too.
Yeah. And like one last thing, I just to touch on, for me, like, there's such great value in this kind of wine compared, like Burgundy has this reputation, but when you look at a wine like this, the quality of it, and it's coming from the Côte de Nuits white, it just has, for me, it's great value. That is amazing value for a bottle of wine.
This is nice. Okay, can we drink the red now? There you go. This is nice. Now this is another. Julien does two different cuvées of haute Côte red. This one's called Cabottes, and the other one's called Valençon. But Cabotte is interesting because there's no oak. It's all tank. It's all steel, and it's curious because he's just getting going up in the haute Côte. He bought this vineyard, and it was in really bad shape, he said. So he had some vines in that vineyard that was 60 years old, but he had to rip out a bunch that were just not there. So he's got like half of the parcel is in 60-year-old vines, and half of it is in just 6-year-old vines. So, and you can only start making wine legally to sell at 4. So he's got relatively old vines and very young vines. So what he does is he vinifies them separately, he ferments them separately, and does you're not allowed to say blend in Burgundy. You have to say assemblage. He does an assemblage of the two. But again, in 2018, because he had this incredible phenolic maturity, you end up with this like powerful wine from both old vines and young vines together. Yeah. So it just pops.
Freshness from the young.
Yeah, but it's got that depth. Yeah. And it's just, I mean, this is Pinot without any artifice whatsoever.
Yeah. And he's blending. He's not throwing the full quantity of each in. It's to get the blend. Again, comes back to the chef analogy. And one important thing to point out for these two wines is he's achieved 12.5% alcohol, you know, and for the punch, power, flavor you get from that Bourgogne red, to have that, you know, relatively low alcohol level, is so impressive.
This is going up the hill again.
Yeah.
This is something that you should really be paying attention to. Is that as we have these warm years successively and consistently, you're starting to see even in the famous vineyards, that some of the more famous vineyards have become really sort of heavy because they've become over mature, and then you just go up 50 yards, 50 meters up the hillside, and things that didn't used to ripen so well are now perfect.
Yeah, they're achieving what was achievable.
Yeah. Anyway, Julien Cruchandeau, keep that. Remember who told you about him. He's a rising star. Look for his Aligoté and his Bouzeron Massal when they come in on a shipment in end of July, and of course he's got these Côte de Nuits. We should talk about the other red some other time. Anyway, cheers to you, and can we eat now?
We can.